Hello, welcome to Business Live. Coming up, Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research warns of difficult economic conditions for businesses in the first quarter of 2025 after election year due to a possible budget overrun.
As we spent in the 2024, during the 2024 elections, we should be careful that the year 2025 might be a turbulent year, and that should inform our decisions, our actions.
Bank of Ghana to close down some non-bank financial institutions facing serious liquidity challenges.
Not been able to raise the necessary resources which would allow those institutions, to be resolved and the depositors' funds returned to them. It's an issue that we are looking closely at.
Later on the Joy Business Van, we will tell you how a bidding hobby has turned Sheila Ofosuhima Kosa into an entrepreneur. We have details of these plus many others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojo Baka. I look now at our stories, and Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quartey, has expressed fear the first quarter of 2025 will be tough for businesses to thrive due to a possible budget overrun in 2024. It contends that the 2024 budget doesn't seem to address the worrying issue of overspending. Professor Quartey has been speaking at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce 2024 National Budget Review Seminar. Speaking at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce 2024 National Budget Review Seminar, Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quartey, said, although Ghana's economy has shown signs of recovery and likely to grow at about 3% by end of 2023, additional incentives for businesses, especially tax reductions, will be a welcome idea.
We've seen in the budget that there's some positive impact, that is support to expand local production. We are told that it will be supported to enhance production, storage and transportation in aquaculture subsector. The fishing industry would also be supported with increased access to premixed fuel, to the automated premixed fuel dispensing and monitoring system, as well as the production of fish feed. So this is a good policy. If we're able to follow through, why not? We'll see expansion within the aquaculture industry.
He tells Joy Business, breaking the political business cycle in 2024 is a test case for Ghana because budget deficits and inflation have always been in excess of targets.
As we spent in the 2024, during the 2024 elections, we should be careful that the year 2025 might be a turbulent year, and that should inform our decisions, our actions, on how we spend, how we manage our finances. We should be able to break from this political business cycle. And particularly 2024 should be a test case, given that we have just come out of a very painful debt exchange program. We have come from a very turbulent economy. Luckily, and good things, the good thing is that we have stabilized now and gradually recovering. So we should deepen that process, which will enhance the recovery process and not go back to our old ways of doing things.
President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Clement Seyamwaku, appealed to government to do more in creating congenial environment for the private sector.
We are not happy by the way some of the key things that we raised have not been taken care of. That said, with the budget being read, we want the government to also look at a situation where they can give us some space in terms of incentives in some of the key sectors that will grow this economy for the private sector, to borrow at a lower cost, to be able to expand our production and create jobs. And so if it is possible that the central bank, together with the government, can look at those areas and give some tax incentives to the banks to allow the private sector to borrow in those areas, and so that we'll be able to be very competitive and produce and employ people. I think that that's the way to go. We are looking forward for further discussions as to how we can look at some of these things in the media budget.
On his part, partner at accounting and auditing firm KPMG, Michael Boatin, said there must be a tax impact assessment on businesses to inform a much stronger fiscal policy measures.
those are some of the things. But in terms of what government could have done to cut it, I think there should be an ongoing review of the impact of the current tax regimes on businesses, because I think if the businesses are not there, then there will be nothing else. So we need to make sure that we maintain them. It's quite interesting that if you look at the recent budget, there were a lot of proposals that are actually supposed to revitalize or to support certain business. So let's keep having these ongoing discussions and see what comes up.
The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry 2024 National Budget Review Seminar was on the theme, the impact of the 2024 National Budget on private sector, businesses and opportunities. For Joy Business, Pius Kujubaka. Now, the Bank of Ghana has revealed that it will soon close down some non-bank financial institutions facing severe liquidity challenges. According to the central bank, the liquidity challenges have made it difficult for these institutions to meet financial obligations to their clients and depositors. All attempts by the regulator to keep them in business have proven futile. Dr. Ernest Addison is governor of the Bank of Ghana and has been giving more details.
There are no banks on liquidity support. However, you know that we have some legacy institutions in the non-bank sector, right, that are, in a sense, not able to meet depositor payments. And these are legacy problems. We have not been able to raise the necessary resources which would allow those institutions, to be resolved and the depositors' funds returned to them. It's an issue that we are looking closely at under this IMF program, and the plan is to set aside some resources from the budget, hopefully, and once those resources are identified, we will take care of that legacy problem in the non-bank financial institution sector. This is an area where the discussions on the financial sector, always miss. I hear statements like, you spend so much money to clean up banks, but they don't compare apples with apples, because that 22 billion or 25 billion that is quoted was not the amount spent to clean up banks alone. That was the amount spent to clean up banks, savings and loans institutions, microfinance institutions, and institutions that were licensed by the SEC.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, justifying why they will be backing on that action. And let's interrogate this further. Joining us via Zoom is Associate Professor of Finance at Andrews University, Williams Prepra, for more on that. Thanks so much, sir, for joining me on Business Live. First off, do you think that the announcements made by the governor forecast troubling times ahead for the industry and also shows how the industry is really struggling?
And thank you for calling me. Good evening to your viewers. The announcement by the governor, if I listen clearly, is in relation to an existing issue and not for companies or non-financial institutions that are operating now. He used the word legacy issues. So, which means that they were those companies, that the non-financial institutions he's talking about are related to those that were classified during the banking cleanup exercise. So it's going to deepen the woes of investors who had their money with these institutions. Already, these individuals are already hoping that they were going to get paid. But the announcement by the governor saying that these banks faces shutdown is going to be a major challenge for investors. And the ripple effect is that it is going to reduce or diminish the confidence being restored after the IMF coming in the financial sector. So the central bank must operate carefully, whatever strategy they want to focus on to address the non-banking financial institutions. If not, Ghanaians will lose confidence in the entire financial industry, not only the non-financial banking system, but also in the main banking system. So its handling must be done with care.
And what should be stakeholders' position on this in the industry? Basically, what should they be doing now?
I mean, if you ask me, with the central bank, probably normally their strategy has been only focusing on providing liquidity support. But for us in finance, when you see a company struggling, you also think of, can we do a restructuring of the company's operation? Can we change the management of those managing the company and bring in new management? And we should also be careful, because some of these non-financial banks or institutions may be facing liquidity challenges because of the recent debt exchange program, the haircuts. It may be that they have invested in these entities and they are suffering. So making payment to their clients will become difficult. So this is where the central bank should not only focus on closing down banks that are probably having liquidity challenges or only giving liquidity support. They must also go into find out who are the management members, what are their capabilities. Can we ask some of the companies to form a merger to strengthen the books to be able to meet the current situation?
All right. Thank you very much, Professor William Prefra, for your time here on Business Life. He's an associate professor at Andrews University in the USA. You're still watching Business Life. We've got a van for you after this break. Welcome back. Beads have become trendy and are setting a pace in the fashion industry. Beaded items have also become lucrative for businesses, and it takes just a few months of training. Sheila Ofosuhima Kosa decided to try her hands at making beaded items after national service when it took her a while to get a job. Her products are now standing out in the crowded market.
The Joy Business Van is brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and MTN everywhere you go.
Bead making is a craft that has been passed on through generations. It has been a critical part in Ghanaian and African culture. From birth through to death, beads play a key role in our culture.
Beads are not just for decoration, but have considerable significance in the cultures of the Ghanaian people. In some cultures, beads are used as a status symbol to show wealth and success. Over time, it has also become fashionable, and it's common to see folks adorn beaded designs to even the workplace. It's become good for business too. Sheila Ofosuhima Kosa is one of many designers tapping into the lucrative beads market.
I started having interest in beads and beaded jewelry in my third year whilst I was reading Family and Consumer Sciences at the University of Ghana. I had the privilege of taking part in a training which was organized by a ladies' wing whilst on campus. This exposed me to beads, the beads market in Ghana, what beads signifies in our culture, and how it helps people adorn themselves.
That proved useful to national service when it took her a while to secure a job. Sheila started Adipa Pieces, specializing in handmade beaded items and accessories.
The production process for making a beaded item or accessories starts with having a design concept in mind. So a client calls and says, I need a favor or I need an item for myself. We help the clients decide. So we go through who is he or she making it for, what's the occasion, and then also we help design the product. We go out to source the material. So if the material is something we need to pre-order or custom made, I need to reach out to my suppliers in Kumasi or Koforidua to design them and then send them over to me. If they are beads I can get on the market, I go to the Mokola shopping mall to make purchases.
At the central business district of Accra, several stalls showcase beads sourced from the eastern and Ashanti regions of Ghana.
I think it's new, but I've not seen it. Yeah.
When Sheila is not able to make a trip there, she comes to one of Ghana's biggest markets, Makola, to pick the raw material she needs to make her items.
In making purchases to design a beaded item, one, I'm looking at the type of beaded item I'm designing. I'm looking at the quality of the bead I'm selecting in whichever piece I'm designing. I'm also looking at the durability of the beaded item I'm designing, and I'm also looking at aesthetics. It's the bead pleasing to the eye? Will it be attractive to the clients I'm designing for?
After sorting and cleaning, work begins.
After making them, I do my photography, smartphone photography myself. So I make a display. I take shots of the item with my phone, depending on the time of the day. So I send the items to the clients and say that this is your final work. Do you like it? Should we make some adjustments, or it's okay? If it's fine, we package it.
It's a competitive market, and designers know their products must stand out.
What makes Adepa pieces and accessories unique is we specializing in making collections. So depending on the season, we go in for beads, and then we choose a particular design which we make, and when it's sold out, we don't replicate the pieces. So each item an individual or client buys is bespoke and unique, so you don't see another person wearing.
Sheila's work demands creativity. That is what attracts more clients. Social media has become a major marketing place for her, but there's so much she needs to do to take her business to the next level.
Unfortunately, it has been a one-man show for a long time, and I feel the weight at a point. Secondly, one of the challenges has been inadequate funds to be able to engage professional photographers to get professional shoots, because I realize it plays a key role, because my brand focuses online. It's an e-commerce and so we focus mainly on selling online. So our inability to engage professional photographers and videographers to take shots of our product ends up being a challenge for us, because we know that how beautiful the product is online is what will drive a client or a potential customer.
Sheila is positive about the future of this business. It brings her fulfillment, and she's got the opportunity to teach young people the craft.
In addition to our successes, last year, the brand had the opportunity of engaging a school on the career day to equip students and pupils with vocational counseling in beaded jewelry and accessory designing. Also, we had the privilege of engaging students of family and consumer sciences in a career summit, just to expose them to the many possibilities out there in terms of career in relation to beaded jewelry design.
Sheila tells the van she needs more funding to scale up, and this.
We intend to scale up the business by adding on some more staff to be able to take up more orders, so that we are not limited. In addition, the brand would also look at partnering so NGOs, government institutions, and corporate industry to be able to provide vocational counseling to pupils, to students, to girls, and all in deprived communities, just to give them something to start life with.
If there's one thing running Adepa Pieces has taught Sheila, is to be a go-getter, and she's not giving up just yet.
And that's it for Business Life for today. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Let's connect same time tomorrow. Bye.